Okay, I think we're gonna go ahead and call the December 8th, 2025 Children's Trust meeting to order. It is Monday and I can't have a bad day. My son got married on Friday and I'm still in recovery mode, started around Thursday. So if I'm a little distracted, I will get back on track. Y'all just have to say, hey, pay attention. We're back to business here. So the first thing though, before we get started is I have a script to read. So let me go ahead and call this meeting to order. The mission of the Children's Trust of Alachua County is to fund and support a coordinated system of community services that allows all youth and their families to thrive. Any members of the public wishing to be heard shall come forward to the podium at the appropriate time and introduce themselves to the board members and the public. Members of the public recognized by the chair will have 3 minutes to speak on a single subject matter or to address a current motion that's on the floor. The clerk of the trust will function as the official timekeeper. Please be reminded that our policy prohibits unplanned funding requests from the podium. Should a member of the public wish to make a funding request, please contact the executive director and our staff for consideration. The clerk is now going to go ahead and call the roll, verify that we have at least 5 members of the trust that are physically present for today's meeting. Board members are asked to, again, put your microphones with the green light on, speak directly into the mic. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
You, Member Tina Surton. Member Mary Chance.
Here.
Chair Ken Cornell.
Here.
Dr. Nancy Hart, member. Dr. Maggie Labarda, treasurer. Dr. Kamala Patton, member. Member Lee Pinkeson.
Katura, I am here and holding my microphone.
Thank you, sir. Let's see, Vice Chair Cheryl Twombly
I'm here.
and Honorable Suzanne Wilson Bullard.
Okay, so let the record reflect that we have a quorum. I do expect a couple of our board members will be here shortly. And so with that, I will go ahead now and seek a motion to. Any changes? No changes. There was, actually, there is one change, one addition. We need to adopt the calendar. Yeah, so if we could add the adoption of next year's calendar on the consent agenda.
Move approval of the consent agenda with the addition of the calendar is number 8.
Second.
Oh, that's 7.5. That's okay. All right, so we've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any public wish to speak to the motion? None. All those in favor, back to the board, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that motion is unanimous. Okay, so we've got usually 2 opportunities for the public to address this board. One at the beginning of the meeting, one at the end of the meeting. Is there any, so we're going to go ahead and open it up for general public comment. Is there anyone from the board for time constraints or once, going twice? Okay, we'll go ahead and close general public comments. All right, next up is the chair's report. Don't have a report, but I do have a special presentation. And that is the recognition of our outgoing board member and vice chair, Cheryl Twombly. Before I give that recognition, I want to just give a little bit of history. So Lee and I were serving together on the county commission prior to the establishment of the Children's Trust out to the voters. And I remember I was thinking whether county commission had millage that was related to a previous debt obligation that was expiring, the debt was paid off. And so the board had had a lot of discussions about, I think it was about $1 million to 1.5 million. What we were going to do with regards to investing in the future. And it was at that moment, and let the record reflect that Dr. Patton and Dr. Varda are now here, so we have 7. Was at that moment that we had a meeting, a couple of us, Lee and I, and a number of community members. Wasn't that meeting, actually. That was the Nancy Hart meeting was a little bit later. With the heat maps, but the community, what's that?
That was actually early.
That was earlier than the adoption of that, yeah, prior to that. And so that heat map discussion about different areas in our community that need additional resources had already occurred. And so the board, along with a group of citizens, a number of them, many of you know, encourage us not to let that millage just expire. And so the board formed what was called a dependent board. So we are an independent board, independent from the Board of County Commissioners. We formed what's called a dependent board. We funded that. And that board was called the Community Services Advisory Board. And Cheryl was placed on that board along with a number of, were you on that board? No, along with a number of folks around the community. And they were tasked with taking that 1.5 million and really developing a plan for our children. And it was really focused on 0 to 5 and changing the trajectory of our community. They met monthly, sometimes twice a month. I think there was over 19 meetings, but
Lot of meetings.
it was a lot of meetings. They developed a whole kind of strategic plan as a dependent board, brought that back to the county commission, and it was that work that led to us deciding, us, the community, deciding that we wanted to form an independent uh, children's trust. So I remember the county met jointly with the city commission, the city of Gainesville. And at that meeting, got 7 unanimous endorsements of the trust. We met with the school board and at that meeting got 5 more. And so we as a community went out with 17 elected officials, 5 county commissioners, 5 school board members, 7 city commissioners, and endorsed this idea of investing in our kids and forming an independent board. If you all remember, that obviously passed, and the county commission had established that the structure of the governing board would be 10 board members. Under the statute, you could pick 2 or 3 different types of ones. One had like 35 members, which was, imagine.
Thank you.
Welcome staff, yeah, so we elected the 10-member approach, which has 5 gubernatorial appointees and 5 statutory appointees. Let the record reflect Honorable Judge Bullard is now in the meeting. Hey, Susan. And so those were the superintendent of the school, at the time it was Karen Clark, a school board member, which was Tina Certain, a judge, which was Judge Bullard, a county commissioner, which was myself, and then Carol has been not just an original board member for the time. She is.
That's what you're saying, old.
She's
Tenured experience. Yes.
she's actually a pre-OG. You know,
Yeah.
it's like before we even got to OG, so she has been an amazing board member, contributor, past chair. And you can't be replaced, and you will certainly not be forgotten. We will continue the work that you have instilled in this board. And so that's my special presentation. That's my speech. Would anyone else like to say anything? Lee, I was gonna ask, you know, go ahead, let her rip, Lee.
Without without Cheryl's guidance, from the DCF perspective, we wouldn't have been, we probably would have been lost in many areas. So it's, not only were you on the original board that did, really has not gotten the recognition that it deserves because it was it started this whole conversations and the whole conversation. And while, everything that we may not have carried through, we certainly carried through with a couple of them, like, or at least the home visits or the visits, newborns, that's a great program. But, thank you for blazing the path, and suffering through all those meetings. 'Cause I understand some of them were, not easy meetings. And, and putting us in the position because it was with because of your success that we were able to carry it out to the public and get it, get the independent board established. And thank you for that. Thank you for what, because of your contributions, the children in our county, which is why we're all sitting here, the children in the county are going to be better for it. Give every child the chance to be successful. We truly have accomplished something. So thank you very, very, very much. I appreciate it. We appreciate it.
You know, there's all sorts of leadership styles, and yours is one of quiet wisdom. You do, you know, you got, when you speak, it's like, okay, wait a second, Cheryl has something to say. Please, let's pay attention. And I think you have brought that from the Services Council and then through onto this board. I know when I chaired at the beginning of my period, which was a little difficult, you were very helpful and I could listen to you and hear the wisdom that was coming from you. So I want to thank you for all of your service. And that's been true in the community at large too, in your role at DCF, not just here.
Well, Chair, as I said before the meeting started, I'm sorry I wasn't able to, was away last week and wasn't able to join you at the celebration, but gonna miss you. Kind of want to echo what Maggie said in the sense of not one to say a whole lot, but your presence has been a number of years, even before we started serving together here. And we serve here together as well as on the United Way CIC board. I've always appreciated you being just very open-minded and leading quietly, but when you speak, it's very positively. Kind of shared your journey into grandmother health and grandchildren that come, but your current grand.
Cruising. So.
I know you got a big one, that long one there, so you have to send us some postcards or email when you get where you're going, huh?
Log in on the cruise ship and just log.
Just pay for it.
Please don't do that.
No, yeah. Yeah, you know, and when Ken said all those meetings, I know she probably remember all the meetings from when we first got the trust going, right? Like every other week, huh? Like.
Make sure you do it with a Zoom so we see a drink in your hand. Yeah.
Are you as happy as I am today?
Judge Bullock.
If I could order you to stay, I would.
What else? I mean, I think the kind of, to conclude this, every big decision we've made, strategic, policy wise. You know, you've been there either with quiet leadership or when we were done with that. I mean, I know I always kind of say, God, okay, what do you think? Is that good? And it's either just a nod or right track or what about this? And so thank you for being that, that person, that leader. So there, we have gifts. Marcia, tell us what we have here.
So just a token of our gratitude, you will see a little lantern, a solar lantern that will always be on. It will light your path as you have done for us. And then flowers, because we believe in giving someone their flowers while they're here. And then on the inside, you'll see of your box, there's just a couple of other little tokens in there for you to find when you get home. So we echo as a staff what the board has already said. Cheryl, you have been a pleasure and a joy to work with, to get to know, always so supportive, and you went out of your way to ensure that we were successful. So we will always, always, always be indebted to you. Thank you.
One thing I said to Marcia before, I said, 37 years with DCF. And so that's what I'm leaving from that. But I said, through those 37 years, I've seen so many evolutions in our social services array, what we do and how we do it. And there were certain moments in that where an initiative would happen, I'd be like, right there, that's whatever we do with this is going to change the trajectory of so many things in our department. And what I see with this group is absolute legacy work that's gonna last so beyond any of us. I'm confident with you all at the helm and working this, things are gonna continue in the way they're. All for continuing this. I'm gonna miss you horribly. I really am.
Always come back.
I can, but I could sit over there and watch. Throw a round of applause. Thank you.
All right. That was awesome. I had that all weekend. I can't cry like anymore. Like I can cry all weekend and it's a joy. So, okay, I did a good job on my part. All right, let's move to the next. one.
Mr. Chair, before you move to the next item on the agenda, there is another special presentation. This is your last meeting as chair. And so we could not say thank you to Ken Cornell. When we talk about legacy, and I can't do that in this. Heavy as he told me it was.
You're gonna get in trouble with Katura.
I know. I should go another. We have to make sure we get some photos too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, come on. Okay, thank you. Oh.
We just want to continue with the thank yous. Ken, your leadership style is brash and let's get it done, resourceful, and we love it. You have been a joy to work with as our chair. Every phone call, and Ken will call you late at night or early in the morning, and he'll leave me a message that says, call me when you get up. Or call me when you get a chance. But you call, and every call is thoughtful. It is you wanting to do something on behalf of children and families in this county. Your commitment to our board, your commitment to our staff, there's just been no one like you. So on behalf of staff, and certainly our board, we want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for your leadership this year. Thank you, Ken Cornell, for being Ken Cornell. Thank you.
At the wedding, what kept coming up was the Cornells are a lot. And I took that as a compliment. We are a lot of things, and I tried to, with that urgency, spread the urgency really of the board collectively and individually, because definitely are trying to move this ball forward every day. So thank you for those kind words. And this is our organizational meeting. We're going to, after the executive reports, we'll do the election of the officers, which will be effective on January. That was a bylaw change, and I'll get that, swear them in. So I think we're done with item 8. Okay, we are done. I'm done with item special presentations, and we move on to now item 8, which is the December 2025 Executive Director Report, which is tab 8. And Marcia, you're right.
Sure, thank you so much. A couple of items to highlight. I had the pleasure of going up to Tallahassee last month, and having the opportunity to meet with our legislative delegation in Tallahassee as opposed to in district. Really good meetings. I am grateful to this board for you all seeing the benefit of us having our own governmental relations team. They were able to get meetings. One of the meetings they put on the docket was a meeting with the current chair of the Property Taxes Committee. So I actually had the opportunity to meet with him, to talk to him about not only our trust, but trust in general. He asked a lot of questions. He actually was very, very pleasant. And I say that because you just never know, right? Particularly with someone who's out of district. You don't know how you will be received. However, because of our governmental relations team and their relationship, he received us well. He listened. He actually was able to recommend that we provide fact with some information that allowed fact to then go and present the next morning in front of his committee. So it was a great meeting all around. Our delegation received us well. They know who we are. They know what we do. They support us. We were told to kind of stand by. No one knows what legislative session is going to look like. There are a number of property tax bills that have been filed, primarily four by the House. They are now going to wait and see what comes out of the Senate. So we will be watching. We have offered our assistance should any of our legislators have questions, need information. We will be back in Tallahassee in January for our fact fly-in. Mary is going to join us at that event, and then we will go back again one more time, at least once more, for Children's Week. So really good meetings and a great opportunity for me to get in front of our legislators and speak on behalf of the trust. So I wanted to highlight that. I also would like to just, let me see if their faces in the room, but I wanted to have just a note of thanks to our family resource centers. We asked them to kind of step up and help families, specifically our SNAP families. The holidays were upcoming and are here. Bread of the Mighty is working with our family resource centers to get boxes out. As you all know, most of the SNAP families should by now have received, or SNAP recipients should have received their benefits, but when you are behind, right, and then something happens that puts you more behind. So our resource centers are standing in what I call the gap. Those of you who, at least us Baptists, that's what we call it. They're standing in the gap for families, for children. They are answering the call. We have been in touch with most of them over the last couple of weeks, talking about their needs and what they are doing to help families. So I just wanted to say a thank you to them, a public thank you. And then, well, there are two more items. I see Couture sent me a note. Junior Achievement. We had the opportunity to go over to Eastside High School. I'm not going to say what typically follows up with when you say Eastside because I'm a Buchholz Bobcat. But that. And we were well received by Brooksy McGraw with the Junior Achievement 3DE program. Their case study this fall was us, was the Children's Trust Level Up Teen Nights. And we provided them with the case, the challenge, help us figure out the best way to implement a teen nights or teen center around the county. That was their challenge. And there were 6 groups that came out of that work. They presented to us last week. Member Chance, Christy and I had the opportunity to judge. They were phenomenal. They had great ideas that we had not thought of. So we're going to take quite a few of their ideas to help us implement our teen nights all throughout the county. So I just wanted to publicly again say to Junior Achievement, to Eastside High School's principal, Mr. Williams, to I guess Brooksy is our program coordinator Brooksy McGraw, and all of, I guess it was about 200 students in the auditorium, all of the students who received us at Eastside, just a thank you. It was so enjoyable. Christy and I have had the opportunity to attend those case studies before. But it's a little different when they're asking you questions about the trust and giving you suggestions on the best way for us to involve them in the planning of our programs. So it was a wonderful experience. You want to add anything?
It was wonderful. It was, there were ideas out of each of the 6 presentation for a variety of reasons, but there were definitely ideas and themes.
Together.
There could be a-
Ding, 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 ding. Yes. They don't want to be in the same space at the same time. All right. And then lastly, this is actually a question for the board. So you all remember we have our strategic planning workshop on Monday, the 26th. We would also like to, on the same day, if you all are willing, go ahead and have that nonprofit life cycle workshop as well. So if you all are willing to come in around noon, we will go ahead and do our strategic plan from noon to about 3. And then from 3 to 4:30, we would have our facilitator come in and lead us through the nonprofit life cycle workshop. And there are some things you'll receive in advance of that, but trying to keep it all on one day rather than bring you all in at different times, if you're willing to do that.
Section of that board.
So starting at 12.
Starting at noon, yes. Monday, the 26th.
Last Monday of the month. Don't mind. Get you the info.
All right. Thank you, Mr.
All right,
Chair.
any questions for Marcia on the executive director report?
And on the 26th would be an all-day thing instead of just a half a day.
Noon to 4:30.
Noon.
4:30. All afternoon.
They give you an idea of what's going to be the substitute for property.
Okay, let me talk, you want me to handle that one? Yeah, so there are 7 or 8 bills that are being passed out of committee. And the theory in talking to Tom Griffin with the Griffin Group, who is not only the trust lobbyist, but also the county commission's lobbyist, is the House is taking the approach, we're gonna pass them all. We're gonna send it over to the Senate, and we're gonna be able to say to the governor, it wasn't us if something doesn't pass. So that's the current approach as I understand it. The importance, though, of the wisdom of this board of bringing on the Griffin Group is, Marcia said jokingly, she gets these calls, call me, she got one of those the other morning after they'd been there, because I'd had a conversation with Tom, and the conversation that I had with Tom was, Marcia hit it out of the park. She and her staff were able to communicate with the chair of this committee, who's very powerful in the House, the importance of children trust throughout the state. And there is not in my opinion, a bigger nonpartisan issue than that up to Tallahassee. I don't know of any legislators that are not in favor of the work that the trusts around the state are doing. So it was important that a representative of a trust was able to say, hey, don't forget about us. You're holding law enforcement, it sounds like, holding them, what's the word? Yeah, carve out. If you're gonna be carving stuff out, let's think about carving kids out. And so, the big risk here with libraries and also with trusts is that that ad valorem is being attacked. The word I'm hearing and is that the governor is really in favor of increasing the homestead exemption and holding homeowners, giving them a reduction or an elimination of their ad valorem, not commercial and not other ad valorem type. Well, so the fact, Florida Association of Counties, and there's a county kind of commission comment, is they're starting to message that this is not a tax reduction, it's a tax shift, because something has to replace it. It's also a service reduction initiative. So, and so you know, to be continued. There's a lot there, but the point here is that Marcia, with her meeting, her single meeting, was able to then get the association in front of the committee, which was just great. I mean, deserves a round of applause. It was great. And, if they didn't know about Marcia Kiner in Tallahassee, they know about her now. So that's great work.
That can be both good and bad.
Right.
Well,
Don't say that.
it can be, except with kids, it's all, I mean, Democrat, Republican, it's all been good. Did you have
Any type of governmental relations.
we're under the statute as an independent board, so we just
No,
follow.
but I'm wondering, do they have a
They have a lobbyist?
representation, like by
Yeah,
prison group
we
or
do
anything,
not.
or are you guys kind of, the county kind of toting the?
County's kind of toting that. So the library board, for those of you that don't know, is made up of here locally, 3 county commissioners, a school board member, and 2 city. Also outsources much of its work like we did initially. The county, Bob is the library attorney. Kirk is at the library meetings, and so they kind of lean on the county for that. So that's that. Also, I wanted to comment on the food systems. You know, we passed what we passed, but the next couple of weeks after that, our staff did amazing work. You know, it wasn't in the November work plan when we started, but thank you all for really bringing all the resource centers together. Okay, I think that concludes the chair's report. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak to that item? No action? Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our election of officers. So with the election of officers, it's, okay, so at this time I would like to discuss the election of officers for the Children's Trust. At this time, it's necessary that the board elect a new chair, a new vice chair, and a new treasurer, which will start on January 1st. Do I have any nominations?
I thought we had kind of like the slate where we would roll up, and I thought we would only be with exemption now since.
Yeah, Cheryl's retiring. So let me talk a little bit about this. So I think I brought this up to the board, but I think we as a board should be aware that we have currently 4 governor appointees. And they are rolling off in different terms, and it's very difficult to find our governor to make them appointees. I think a good approach is when a statutory member is the chair, we have a governor appointee followed by a statutory member, followed by a governor appointee. So that's an approach I would like to take. And you're right, Tina, as long as no one's kind of retiring, it would just kind of, the vice chair would move to the chair, the treasurer would to the vice chair. Really confirming that that's what we want to do. I don't think we have that in the bylaws. That's just kind of what we have historically done. So I certainly have thoughts of what I would like to do, but I'll open the floor to nominations. And I can tell you that Mary and I have we had a sunshine meeting discussing Mary stepping in as chair, which I think she'd make an amazing. I also think though, then behind Mary should be a statutory member, and I would love it if the judge would consider that as an original OG. And then following that, a gubernatorial member, and I would love if Commissioner Pinkerton would be okay with thinking about as treasurer. That's kind of Bob, can I make the nomination as the chair?
I'll make that nomination.
Okay. Maggie's nominated the chair as Mary Chance, vice chair as Honorable Bullard, and the treasurer as Commissioner Pinkerton, Member Pinkerton. Are there any other nominations from the floor?
A second.
At 3 seconds, so that's good. Bob, I can do these all together, correct? Yeah, so we've got a slate of nominees. Any discussion? Any public discussion?
A discussion. I was gonna ask Maggie, you didn't?
Perfectly happy with the slate. I'd be happy to move up, but I'm happy with what's proposed. I've been there before.
I know you have.
I did
You were
that
there in
gig.
the hard time.
Yeah, I did that gig before.
And with what's happening at the governor's office, so Maggie's seat is actually.
My seat technically ended in 20.
Wow.
Technically.
So it could be changed at any time, and so that's the fear with Maggie's seat, but we're so happy that it hasn't been replaced, so. All right, so we've got that nomination. Mary, Judge Bullard, and then Commissioner Pinkston. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, that motion is unanimous, so let's go ahead and do the oath of office for those three. Where do you want to do this?
Just, will everyone stand by Ken and we'll do quickly?
Come on.
Open
You
office?
give yourself a note?
No, that's why we have Ken. Literally, it was like, can she do her own? No.
You know what? Didn't even think of that, Maggie.
Yeah.
Hi, Suzanne Bullard.
All right, so the oath of office. I state your name. Solemnly swear that I support,
solemnly swear that I support,
protect and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States.
of the United States.
In the state.
State of
And duly qualified to hold office
Florida, I am duly qualified to hold office.
under the Con.
We'll see you in this.
I will well and faithfully perform
Well and faithfully.
of the Children's Trust of Alachua County,
Trust of Alachua County.
on which I am now about to enter, so help. All right. Okay, so that will happen as of effective January. Yeah, and I'll finish sharing this meeting. And so that moves us on now to the presentations, which are head of Head Start Summer Bridge evaluation results. And I've got on my calendar here that we're gonna have Miss Bonnie Wagner be the presenter, who is our CTAC Research Planning and Evaluation Coordinator. The recommended action is just to receive the report. There's no action required. And Ms. Wagner, thank you for being here. You are recognized.
Hey, great.
And we're not gonna rush her today.
Plenty of time.
So this afternoon, I'm presenting on the Year 3 Head Start Summer Bridge evaluation results. Head Start provides care and learning experiences for existing Head Start children over the summer when program sites would not ordinarily operate. This helps ensure children maintain consistent care and have learning opportunities over the summer to promote kindergarten readiness and avoid summer slide. The program provides support to families, engagement in their child's learning, and allows parents to have the opportunity to work or go to school. The program also provides additional income for the 10-month teaching staff, which helps support staff continuity and retention, which we all know is so important. We began funding Head Start Summer Bridge in the summer of 2023 at 4 Alachua County sites, serving 56 children. In year 2, the budget was increased to serve more children, and we also added a 5th site that year. In this past summer, we served 94 children at 5 site locations. Over the years, the program has grown, improved, and adapted. After the pilot year, we recognized the need for a program manager position. This position is responsible for recruiting and enrolling families. They're also responsible for recruiting and supporting the sites with curriculum planning, implementation, attendance and outreach, and fiscal and data reporting, among other things. In year 2, we also added an extended day option, which allowed for families needing care beyond the 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. hours to have those additional care hours. And each year we added and improved upon the learning and curriculum plan, which I'll talk a lot about on the next slide. Year 3 changes included adding 2 directly operated sites along with the 3 community partner sites. And we added more enhancements to the learning plan, additional take-home activities and resources for the teachers. And we built in teacher planning days. So this is the educational and learning experience. As you can see, it's packed full of a variety of educational programming and learning experiences. The programs provide literacy-rich environments. They have writing centers and sets of books. They also have twice-a-day read-alouds. The Head Start Summer Bridge leverages Hatch Ignite, which is a software with developmental learning and digital learning activities to provide activities that focus on literacy, math, and social emotional skills. And then children also have a curriculum, small daily group curriculum with their teachers that reinforce these activities. For the additional social emotional curriculum, they leverage the OWLS PALS, which is an evidence-based curriculum where they have curriculum kits and digital subscriptions to learning curriculum. They also have the option to use conscious discipline, which is another evidence-based curriculum model to promote classroom management and social emotional learning. For STEM, there was opportunities offered through the Cade Museum, through the Cultural Arts Science Bus, and teachers also had learning kits and activities where they were able to offer to the kids throughout the summer. There was also an at-learning home components where children were able to take home books weekly along with family involvement activities. They also had the opportunity to take home that Hatch tablet, which had the digital learning content that's synced up with their teachers' login at the site. They also offered math and physical education instruction within the classroom curriculum as well. One other thing I wanted to note is the program curriculum is monitored through the program manager through site visits, as well as the Head Start educational specialist provides support to ensure that the programming is implemented as expected and with quality. So the dots on the map represent where the site locations are located throughout Alachua County. There's 5 of them, and then to the right, the bar chart shows the number of kids at each site. So there's a total of 8 Head Start locations throughout Alachua County, and 5 of them serve as Head Start Summer Bridge sites. This next slide, we are able to serve children from 7 different Alachua County municipalities and 14 different zip codes. Head Start Summer Bridge was successful in serving children from rural communities. 54% of the children were actually outside of the Gainesville area. And we were able to add a Hawthorne and East Gainesville location during summer 2025. So we were able to serve those children in those communities this past summer. So who are Head Start children served? So all the children are existing Head Start children, and to qualify for Head Start, the family's income has to be below the poverty level, or they have to be receiving public assistance or experiencing homelessness or be in foster care. Our children served through the program were roughly equal portions of girls versus boys. We serve children with the average age of 4.6, with children 3, 4, and 5 years old, with the largest portion of our children served being African American, followed by multiracial, white, and other races. 13% were Hispanic. 40 of the 94 children, based on their age, would have entered kindergarten this fall. And so some of our 5-year-olds, this was the summer before their kindergarten entry. So all of our locations offered 34 days of programming, and children attended on average of 25.5 days, with 73% of children attending 20 plus days. So you can see in the chart with the sites, Some sites do better than others. It was interesting to see our rural sites tended to have a little bit lower. So that's something, attendance is always something that we build upon. It has been improving since year one. And I think knowing which sites need more support will help us, equip us to support them better and.
Member Certain and then Dr. Lombardo.
Oh, I didn't.
Yes, that was very concerning to see the two sites that tend to be in the same area in the eastern part of the county. That attendance support is being, more attendance support. Have you all teased out why the kids are not in school? And this is concerning because if it started in Head Start, this is the same pattern that we're seeing, no, in elementary, middle, and high now. So if this is an issue now with Head Start, with the supplemental program, there's no cost. The Head Start's a free program, but the trust has undertaken and funding the after school. So it's not like, have we looked to see like what are the challenges and what can we do to take that or address the challenge?
One of the big challenges is there was a few children that signed up and were only able to attend a few days and then or 1 or 2 days, and then transportation became a significant issue where they dropped out early in the program. So that was one that's stuck out to me. Other than
So can you tell us how many dropped out, like initially? And then if they dropped out, I wouldn't think they'd be counted the rest of the summer, right? And then for those who remain throughout the program.
13 at Hawthorne and 12 at Michelle.
So the less than 10 days ones, those are kids that we know attended less than, so there was 8 of those, 9%.
Is that in here? I'm sorry, Dr. Lombardo.
I had the same.
Because I didn't see that, what you just said. Is that in?
The less than 10 days, the 9%, it doesn't say the number, but I know the number is 8. The parents need to get them there.
One question, when you say problem, like, is the trend absenteeism?
So what I'm saying from the data that I've seen, I know the schools in the Hawthorne area have a higher
Hawthorne in particular.
in that area, but even in East Gainesville, a lot of the attendance is not good in the city, but I'm saying, I know in Hawthorne it is, because I've asked when we've got at the middle high. And so when I saw this, I was like, yikes, this is starting early, and I'm trying to figure out like, why are they, whoever the program manager that is here, are we trying to get at why the students are not attending? That's, so we can address that. We can try to get, plug that up, because we're starting in Head Start, and this is we got to get to the root of this.
That is something that we can look at and find out, and then we can bring back.
That was my thing that struck me as well, is like what's going on in the rural counties, that attendance is so. And if it's transportation, I started going to countywide meetings around why kids aren't getting where they are able to get services, and that was 50 years ago in transportation. I'm thinking juvenile justice council, I'm thinking,
They miss the bus, there's not another.
Right.
Often they just can't get to school. And closer rural, they can still drop them off or whatever, but it's a problem too.
But you do wonder, intervention wise, a change of, just a conversation early, almost like the visiting RN program, of the importance of, we're seeing. What that means.
And it could also just be some resource finding around, if your car isn't available today, is there some kind of partnership within the group of kids, families that are attending that can help?
Or it could be they don't feel a connection to the school.
Or they don't.
Like, we don't want to put it all on the family. It could be something that is not like,
But it's a good thing to be
Right.
curious about.
it is.
It's a really essential thing to be curious
Okay,
about.
let's do, member Pinkison and then,
If somebody drops out, Bonnie, is there the ability to have somebody else come in and take their place?
place the spot.
Martha Cox is with the ECS for Kids. She is the vice president of grants and
Local
government relations.
Yes. So when you don't get a raise, you get a new title. So that is,
Would you get?
oh,
closer?
sorry. So that is one of the things that we do want to do for this upcoming year is when we have the child who, comes one day, 3 days, after that first week is to go ahead and disenroll that child and then recruit so that we've got more replacements or over recruit for that. Right now, we are counting them in our attendance. So, if they came for those first 2 days, we count their non-attendance that entire time. So having and we'll talk with the program staff about this, having the ability to disenroll that child who may not still be interested would be something that we want to do. We are also programmatically very much working on attendance. I mean, to the point of how do we have those good habits start early? And we have gotten much more serious in our discussions with families because what they are getting through this program is so valuable. I mean, this makes a huge difference in their life outcomes. And if we, and the reality is that if we look at Head Start eligibility and how many kids we're able to serve, we could increase our enrollment 5 times and we still would not be serving every child who's eligible. And so we are taking that very seriously. We're having those discussions with families that says, if you're going to be in this program, we need you to commit to being in this program, which means you need to have your child here. Did that help?
Yep.
I was gonna ask, when you say you'll just disenroll, but that's like mechanics of it. So of what you're saying, I think a conversation needs to be had before we just say we're gonna disenroll someone.
Correct.
Because we need
Correct.
to figure out like why they're not there. So that's kind of troublesome to hear you say it that way, and that may not have been what you needed it. And then
I apologize.
I think with the demographics of the students that we have, is your staff reflective of the community that you're serving? And maybe some training for us to really figure out how we can effectively serve them, because the whole purpose of us investing when the children are young is to avoid problems early on. So we don't want to just like say, okay, you're not coming, this is value, we're going to just disenroll you. We really want to make sure we can really reach people where they are. And I think sometimes having folks who are reflective of the community they're serving, there's a trust factor that's there. And there's also maybe being connections.
Yeah, so I apologize. I said that poorly. We just have had some people who would commit to coming and then would tell us, oh, we're really not able to come. We would rather have those discussions up front. And that if something does happen where plans change, that we can then put in another child. That's probably a much better way of putting it.
So if I'm clear on how the children are identified, I see how they're eligible, but how are you actually identifying the participants?
So we offer this program to every child who is moving into Head Start.
All right.
So these are our existing children. These are children where we have relationships with the families. We have been working on attendance all year.
So can some of those challenges be addressed up front? If it's a transportation issue, what are the options? I mean, you discussed some options, but is there anything specific that you all can offer? At this point, if they say, we'd love to participate, but we can't get there, or I can only get there on these 2 days.
So we do offer them the ability, if they say that they want to come, say, for 2 days, per week, we do let them have that opportunity. Because, families do have plans during the summer. If they're going to be off on vacation, to go see relatives, we'll give them, excused absences for that. But we do work with the children who we have already got those relationships with their families. So, and what we're really working to do is to have those conversations and work those issues all year long. So it is not just a summer piece. So it's not that we're, giving them 2 days. These are children who we have had for at least 6 to 8 months. They've committed for the summer, but if something happens and they need to pull out, that we want to have the option to let them do that. And that's probably a much better way of saying that.
Dr. Kiner?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Martha, for sharing your insight. I think two things here. One, and Bonnie, you and Amy can correct me if I'm wrong, we can survey those families, those parents, to kind of drill down to why they did not return. So I think we can do a little bit more research for you all and get that information. Martha, for you, I'm wondering if, there's more of a role that our program coordinator could play in, gathering information from those families and then presenting some solutions, potentially community solutions, even if that's, working with us. Hawthorne, we're going to have a family resource center there, and depending upon where the sites are. So I think there are some additional touch points where we could be working, with that program coordinator to assist potentially those families if we find out that there are some resources, some additional resources needed. So I just wanted to share that.
And also that we so appreciate that because, attendance issues are year-round issues. It is not something that is a summer isolation.
Dr. LeBarge?
I'd also like to encourage us to ask that question in a somewhat different, why didn't you come? Can feel accusatory as opposed to what might have helped you come.
Right.
And so I want to make sure that when we do that follow-up, what we're just doing is trying to find out the things that they might have needed. Making any assumptions about why didn't you come?
Bonnie, you want to keep going?
So at the end of the program, we do surveys with parents to gain their perspective on the program's quality, benefits, and outcomes. We had 60 parents complete the survey in summer 2025, which represented about a 71% completion rate. Parents report high levels of satisfaction across the areas, with most times parents saying that the area was great or good. Parents in particular noted how they appreciate the teachers, the educational and socialization opportunities that the program afforded their children. My favorite quote is, "I love how they always give feedback on my children's progress." So the teacher is speaking with the parent and they're speaking with them on how things are going on a frequent basis. And then I also love that they get to do the activities. They engage the parent by sending the activities home where they can have it be an enjoyable experience at home with the families, which might be limited in getting resources like that in the home. We also asked some questions about benefits that they felt like their child derived from the program. So beyond the child just enjoying attending this program, which 100% either agreed or strongly agreed to, parents felt like their child was learning more. They were satisfied with the educational experience and felt like this kept their routine consistent because if this program wasn't funded by the trust, they wouldn't have anywhere to go. Their routine would be disrupted in their formative years. They wouldn't get to have all these experiences. In terms of looking at educational gains, we're excited to be able to see learning gains from our Summer Bridge children outpace non-participants and pretty significantly. We're able to see this through the teaching strategies gold, and which is administered across all Head Start sites. It's an observational tool that the teacher will assess for children. The tool is good from birth to kindergarten, and they assess domains in social, emotional, physical, language, cognitive, literacy, and math. The domain ranges from a minimum of 200 to a maximum of 800, covering again from birth to kindergarten. On this slide, we show the average score in each domain for Alachua County Head Start children in both summer or in spring of 2025 and fall. So the triangles representing where they started and the squares representing where they stopped, with the purple representing our summer bridge and the gray representing non-bridge kids that were in Head Start locations. As you can see, the summer bridge participants showed gains across all 6 domains. They also had gains that outpaced the non-participants, and the non-participants saw losses in 5 out of 6 domains. So these results were pretty profound and really spoke to that summer learning loss will happen in the absence of having opportunity.
Let me read this. I'm trying to figure out. So the Alachua County, the non-participant, I get the participant one. So social emotional, they were at 427 at the beginning of the measurement period, 443 at the end. So they made gains, right? Is that how I read
So,
that?
For social emotional non-participants started at a 451 and then they fell backwards because the triangle represents where they started.
Oh, it's not an arrow.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Down at the bottom.
That makes
So
sense. I visuals, my little brain was having a challenge. Okay.
So yeah, triangle means where they,
Triangles where they start.
yeah,
square
and
where they end.
and the squares where they end. So they went back, except for in literacy, they went forward, the non-participants.
I mean, this is a slide to go back out
Yeah.
public to talk about the.
Yeah,
impact.
especially the breadth of these domains. This is. Except I would change triangles.
I would too.
I was thinking of like a DVD player, or stop and start.
I mean, if you flipped, just even flipping somehow,
Yeah.
to me, it just made it very hard to
Think forward, triangle.
visually,
square,
yeah,
stop.
well, just visually, because it
Start.
looked 474 to 491, you don't get the sense that they moved.
I'll keep thinking about the visual.
It's instrumental.
So this slide outlines the performance measures, targets, and actuals for Head Start Summer Bridge. As you can see, the program successfully met or exceeded all the targets. Our better off measures all focus on the learning gains and the avoidance of summer slide. So this is measured in 3 ways. From our parents' perspective, were they satisfied with the learning? Did they feel like their child was learning more because they were part of the programs? 2, from the teaching strategies gold, which data I just presented, that they're outpacing children that are comparable to them that didn't get the opportunity to participate. And 3rd is through the Hatch Ignite, which we just got the data today for, which shows that 96% of the children served, improved, or maintained their literacy, math, or social emotional skills per the Hatch Ignite. So that's the tablet that they get to play the learning games on and do math and literacy and other learning activities through them. So we're able to see through several sources evidence that the children are making learning gains and becoming better prepared for kindergarten through this program. So with that concludes the presentation. Happy to receive any additional questions or.
Bonnie, before we go to the board members, I'd like to ask you, do you need any additional time? Wasn't this the meeting last year that I started and I was rushing? Yeah, okay. Very good. Okay, members, any questions on the slide? During the presentation, but Dr. Labardo?
I do have a comment. So I saw the STEAM, which I love to see the A added to STEM, but I didn't see anything reflected about arts. And arts are not just fun. Arts really do help kids learn in all sorts of ways. It's also really empowering in terms of creativity. So it would be nice just to know if there are some arts activities, particularly unstructured ones, not that we're all going to paint the same tree the same. But that can really facilitate learning and creativity. Recommendation for something to be there.
Anybody else? Member Chance and member Short.
Just in terms of better off though, hats off to you all for the quality of this curriculum, as these aren't just gains, these are significant. Really impressive that you hit.
I had a question, on the fiscal impact that's on the page, is that amount just for summer? For the 29 students that were in this for summer?
94 students.
Ah.
The number is lower for the gold because it's children that return in the fall. And remember, at least, I predicted at least 40 based on their age went to kindergarten.
94 students under 20 summer.
Some of them might have not returned in the fall because they went to kindergarten, or some of them might have not returned because have had moved or.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, member Pickens.
Bonnie and all very, very, very much, because exactly what we're trying to do for the children. And this is, as far as I'm concerned, it's one of the most important.
Yeah, and I'll add, we've got this moonshot for literacy, but what's really great is, in addition to the literacy, is the biggest gains were math. And Commissioner brought up math. So, math and reading show really good results. Okay, anyone from the public that wishes to speak to the presentation, come on up. Go ahead and introduce yourself and, give us your thoughts.
So, thank you. I'm Martha Cox. I'm with ECS for Kids, and just thank you again. What I really wanted to express is that, 3 years ago, we came up with this idea and you asked us to do that. And the results have really been so amazing. And organizationally for us, we see Summer Bridge as one of the most important things programmatically that we are doing, to the extent that we are going to the state legislature to ask for not just matching funds for Alachua, because we would like to double the impact that we're having in Alachua. And I'm going to assume that that's going to be okay with you all if we
Yes, that would be great.
did that, but we are looking to expand this across our geography, and we use the Children's Trust of Alachua County as really the standard for a community believing in their children and investing in their children and holding us to the highest standards and holding yourselves to those highest standards. So, and we really appreciate, as always, any ideas on how we can make the program better. And love the idea of what resources we could bring to families, because this is a year-round issue for us.
What you heard today from 3 members is let's hone in on when we lose kids. Why are we losing them? How can we stop that? And prevent that even before it even gets started. Yeah.
And the other thing that I thought of, because right when you sit down, you always think of things, but actually over 20% of our staff are current or former Head Start parents or Head Start alums. And that's really important for us to understand that voice.
Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Cox. Anyone else? Okay, I think that concludes the presentation. Bonnie, thank you so much. Moving now to our second opportunity for general public comments. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to address this board on anything that likes to talk to us about that's on the agenda? Going once. Going twice. Okay, let's go ahead and close public comments for your information. Board members, we've got the Early Childhood Learning Collaborative, the 12 Emergency Food Initiative. Please read that. Make sure that you are aware of the approach staff has taken and may come back to us early next year. And then the TWA request, plus the student information has been provided. Okay, board member comments. We'll start with the Honorable Judge. Got anything for us? Okay.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Maggie, you got anything? Okay, any words of wisdom?
I will probably be like. Because I'm vested at this point. I love.
All right, Mary, so remember, when you're running the meetings here, when we're done, you might, if you see Cheryl up there, you may say, Cheryl. Okay, I wanna,
Just an announcement, we're hosting our holiday, did you call it a party? I was calling it a social, but I think something went out. Our social on Friday, you all are welcome to join us at 12:30 right here. It'll look a little different, but please come out if you have some time. We'd love to see you.
and I wanted to let everyone know that, we have an accounting meeting tomorrow. We have a joint meeting with the city of Gainesville on Wednesday. 3? I think at 3, and, I've asked Marcia and her staff to be there for that because we're gonna kind of, 2:30, looks like 2:30, no, 1 o'clock, 1 to 3. And the two things on the agenda is, Commissioner Desmond Duncan Walker is gonna be presenting the concept of a African American Cultural Arts Center on the eastern part of our city. Following some models from around the state, there's a group of folks that went down to Miami and another group going down in February down to Miami. She's going to present that. And then following that, the county staff is going to give a debriefing on food systems. The county is working on food systems wide and kind of debrief as to what happened with the SNAP emergency, and Marcia and her staff to be there because the resource centers are a big part of that long term. And so that's going to be presented to the city, not to give a request, but to let them know. And obviously, if there are resources at the city that we can tie into, that would be important. That's Wednesday. It's a joint meeting with the Alachua County, and we meet every quarter, the Board of County Commissioners and the City Commission. 1 or 2 things on the agenda, and that's the 2 things on the agenda. 1 to 4, it's that Grace Night in the county offices. We've got a finance committee meeting on Wednesday, December 17th at 1:30. I've got it at 1:30.
1:30? Okay, then it's
1:30.
It's at 1:30?
And then we've got a strategic planning workshop, as we talked about, starting at noon on the 26th, running through 4:30. All right. Anything else from staff? With that, everyone have a beautiful holiday, and we are adjourned.